Afternoon all, how are we doing? So I'm just rendering a video at the moment, which I've just done for the new indicator. So if my stream's a bit weird and jerky, that's why. It's just finishing rendering. Hopefully it's just finished actually. Oh, it's finished, right, okay. Cool, that's done. Get rid of that then. Bye-bye. Brilliant. There we go, that's done. So I'm back. Hopefully that will stop my machine going. Afternoon, John, Crom, Dereje, Connor, afternoon, Berlino, Alex, Virginia. I want you to look at, for me, Aussie, New Zealand. There it is. Oh, wrong one. Afternoon, Rob. Afternoon, Marco. Afternoon, Diamond. So yeah, Aussie, New Zealand's pushing at the moment. Still pushing off the back of the New Zealand news. New Zealand's coming down. So it is pushing up. Still going. Afternoon, Dirk. Afternoon, James. So yeah, Aussie, New Zealand's still going. So yeah. Big old targets to the downside. There's a lovely propulsion gap target now on that. So that'll get filled within the next couple of days. US dollar news this afternoon. We had the unemployment figures come out. Couldn't see it for a minute there. I was going blind. Right in front of me, in the middle of the screen. Unemployment claims, 245 on a forecast of 240. So pretty much what we were expected. So not a lot of movement there. Philly Fed came out as a negative as well. So negative news US, but nothing particularly dramatic there. So unemployment claims are very close to what they were expecting, which means the unemployment rate has probably not changed a great deal, which is good. So that's positive US, although the unemployment claims going up is obviously a negative. So we haven't had a massive amount of movement on the US dollar. US dollar CAD, as you can see, that was the news in here in the last couple of candles. We haven't really gone anywhere at all. The US dollar Swiss, we had a bit of a drop. It's pulling back a little bit. US dollar yen's dropped a little bit. Looking at the euro and the pound, we just had a big whipsaw move. So no, it's weak US, but not particularly weak. So what's up with Aussie dollar CAD? So all the Aussie dollars basically are pumping like crazy. Lots of strength in the Aussie. Not quite sure, but pumping. Obviously, the Canadian dollar is coming down along with the US dollar. So that's partly why the Canadian dollar is dropping quite a lot. Oil, still going. Still on its way, look. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. We're halfway there. Halfway to the gap fill. Nearly done. So we should be there fairly soon on that one. Right, Dow having a little bit of a push. So this afternoon, one or two things. We're either going to get a massive tank on these US indices or they're going to revert. So there's a lot of people buying Tesla stock at the moment. It's cheap, obviously, because it's dropped and nobody's ever going Tesla's crap. So it's pushing a little bit, but I'm not sure what we're going to get today. So be very careful with the ORB. I'm not going to take the ORB again this afternoon because of the speed of this movement we've had on the US indices. We've sat there and done absolutely nothing since the initial sell-off of the motor stocks. So it's very hard to tell what we're going to get at the open today. It's always hard to tell. You can never tell, but we're not anywhere near ADR on these yet. So there is a fair amount of movement. But looking at the Dow, you know, on the open, it's not unusual to see a candle like that, is it? That almost gets us down to ADR today. So it's a tricky one this afternoon. I'm going to leave it alone for the minute. But we'll see what happens. We've got 2 minutes to the open. NASDAQ seems to be selling off. What's the DAX doing at the minute? Not a lot. DAX is pushing a little at the moment. So, yeah, we've had a nice reversal at a 150 ADR off of a weekly support. Look. So that was a previous weekly level. Basically, we've bounced off there. Oh, sorry, there. Where was that? That one. Yeah, so it's bounced straight off that weekly. If we're going to get a pullback on the indices before another leg down, we might see a big rally at the open across the board on these, because there's lots of targets to the upside. We've come back down into there and bounced, put in a new higher low and a higher high. So we are bouncing back up. So we may get up to here or some of this filled and then put another leg in to come down and challenge the lows. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with these, but it should be interesting. Might be a big, volatile, fast, crazy one. It might not be. Afternoon, Joaquin. So we'll see what happens. So let's watch that. We got 30 seconds to go until the open. I've had 2 people today get in touch with me on Telegram. And they open up their conversations with, hi. And then, obviously, I sit here because I get tons and tons and tons of DMs on Telegram. I sit here waiting for them to ask the question. About an hour or 2 later, I tend to go, hi. And then they go, I've got a question. Why don't you just, what I would do is just go, hi, can I ask a question? Ask the question. Don't sit there, and I don't need to have a conversation backward and forward on Telegram. So many people do it. I don't get it. So if you need to contact me on Telegram for anything, just get straight to the point. I'll answer the question. Afternoon, GT. How you doing? I'm waiting for you, buddy. Glad you came. Oh, hello. Please tell me about pound US dollar. Yeah, I'm just going to watch the open first and just see where we go on the open. I just want to watch the DAX as well, because I'm curious to see. The DAX has got a lot of motor stock in it. I'm curious to see whether the DAX is falling in line with the Dow. Let's quickly look at the NASDAQ as well. So the NASDAQ's trying to push. Seems to be a lot of resistance to the buys at the minute. A lot of resistance, full stop at the minute. It's a bit jittery. But I'm just curious to see what the DAX does today. Because there's a lot of motor stock. The biggest motor retailers in the world, basically, are in the DAX. So I just wanted to see what correlation we get with the Dow on the open. Really struggling. Look, can't get anywhere today. Very, very lackluster open. We see this a lot on big move days. They just run out of steam. We've had it a few times, haven't we, where it's just done that. Doesn't seem to be doing an awful lot. The DAX either. Okay. Right, so watch the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ's broken out the pre-market high for the 5-minute and the 15. So your pre-market 5, 10, 15 is there, testing the highs. So you'd be long on the pre-market if you're using that as your opening range break. There we go. So we're at the highs on the NASDAQ. The Dow is testing the lows again. It's impossible to tell which way this is going today. There's so much upside target. NASDAQ's popping, so a little bit more resistance on the Dow for a long. Come on, Dow, make your mind up. Anybody trading the Dow this afternoon? Really not interested, is it? Okay, so gap fill done to the upside on the NASDAQ. That video I've just recorded is a lot of it is about propulsion gaps, actually. Good 6 or 7. It's, the video for the new indicator that I've just done is about half an hour long because I ramble. And there's a good 6 or 7 minutes of that. Sorry. Yeah, about 6 or 7 minutes of that is about the propulsion gap targets. And the rest of it's about support and resistance. So okay, Dow is out to the downside, NASDAQ is out to the upside. So if you took the pre-market 5, 10, 15, you would have had roughly a 20 pip move you needed for a 1-to-1, which you've had. 1.5 is going to be up in that propulsion gap. So your target to the upside there. So somewhere around there, 1.5 R is your target to the upside if you're taking a scalp on the NASDAQ. If you're on the Dow, you've just gone short. Oh, that's really lackluster today, isn't it? Really not interested, is it? Oh, what's that? Oh, not selected, that's why. It's probably a bit more of a better representation of where your TPs and your stop losses would be. Okay, so on your way to target. There's your 5-minute opening range. So your 5-minute ORB is pretty similar to the pre-market on the Dow. There's your 5-minute opening range on the NASDAQ. So I suspect there is your target about to get hit. There we go. 1.5 R scalp on the pre-market if you took that. And we got lots of upside. So this looks like a nice looking long opportunity today, considering the NASDAQ's run. So Dow, probably a good ORB long. DAX doing. The DAX is just not interested. The French have all gone to sleep with their baguettes. No offense, Diamond. John, I am waiting for the break lower. Held off getting long just now. I'm in several positions short on the Dow. Shorts in the Dow. Could go short. Could go anywhere. Afternoon, Brian. So someone wanted to have a look at something, didn't they? Pound US dollar you wanted to look at. So pound US dollar at the moment. Basically, we've got propulsion target to the upside and the downside. So we looked at this one this morning. We were waiting for the news. So basically, we just sat and accumulated all day waiting for the news. The news has been negative US, so we've had a little bit of a bullish movement, but nowhere. We haven't even broken out of yesterday's range yet. We're an inside bar on yesterday. So still stands same as this morning. It's 150 ADR to the upside, 150 ADR to the downside. So that is 150 ADR. That propulsion gap is 150 ADR, roughly there or thereabouts. Could go either way. It's flatlined on RSI on the 4-hour and the hour. There's just absolutely no reason to get into that at all at the moment, unless you just want to take a 50-50 shot at long or short on these gaps, in which case, flip it. You're going to be right or you're going to be wrong. Mr. Week could flip his coin. One of them will win. One of them will fail. Afternoon, Dereska. So yeah, can't really see anything to do with that at the moment. Dow is really stuck. Really stuck. Okay, so the NASDAQ's come out of that propulsion gap. So we're just about to form another propulsion gap. Big, strong candles everywhere today. Just no direction, really. Okay, so 5-minute ORB is long. Ooh, just maybe. Don't know if you would have got that. Yeah, you would. So you'd be long on the 5-minute ORB, although I don't fancy this. This is one of the ones I'm glad I didn't take today. Adrian, will there be an MT5 version of the support resistance propulsion targets indicator? It is a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? I couldn't figure out what to call it. I got really. So I've just launched it on the marketplace. Basically, I've called it the support resistance propulsion targets indicator. Yes, there is an MT5 version coming. It's next on the list to do. It's not going to be. I'm off until Tuesday now, so it's not going to be till next week. But there will be. So yeah, it's out basically. Obviously, I've just recorded the video, which I'm going to upload to YouTube. In fact, let me do that now. Upload video. There you go. Pop that over there and let that do its thing. Yeah, so yeah, there will be. Okay, we're just completing this propulsion gap. So looking at support resistance levels, that low in Globex is potentially a target. The gap fill's done. So that, I mean, that's the most recent low. That propulsion gap is kind of filled. That one isn't. That one I would say is probably done. That one is end of day yesterday. So I would ignore those two really. If we are going to run for this downside today, I think we're probably pretty much done here. So we'll see. Doesn't seem to be much enthusiasm for anything in the market though this afternoon. So we'll do some FX analysis. Right. Dow's coming down a little bit as well. Look at that. What a mess. Mr. Week is in the market. Ignore. We got a weekly. Woo! Right. Aussie dollar CAD. So ADRs today. Aussie dollar CAD is now a weekly hit. There we go. Big strong push on the Aussie dollar. Weakness on the Canadian dollar. So there is Monday's low. There is your high. It is Thursday. So this is a good time to start looking for reversals. We are 153 off of a 151 weekly range. So that is your weekly range in. So potentially this is where we're going to start to falter. We are ADR today as well. We're approaching 125 ADR. So dropping down onto M5, looking for reversal alerts. You would have had a reversal alert. I know, not before ADR. So yeah, this is going to be the first reversal alert of the day. Look at these wacky great targets. This should be a quick in and out today, Aussie dollar CAD. As soon as you get that reversal alert, I think this is probably just going to come down fast. So H1 RSI extension above the 80 level now. I'm in one short, done some drawdown control this morning on this one. Looking for propulsion gap fills to the downside. So we have still got upside target here and here. So there is a potential that this is just going to flag and push up to there and sort of just undo this, but we will see. So that is good. Aussie dollar CAD, ADR hit. Aussie dollar New Zealand dollar, we know is an ADR hit from this morning. There was a reverse alert on that already this morning here. It's pushing further up to 150 ADR now. This one, where's this going? Propulsion gap fill is done there. So the next stop is 225 ADR. So that would be where I would expect to get the next sort of turning point. This may or may not get sorted. We could see this New Zealand dollar really weakening moving forward. So we'll see. But nice opportunity for a short there. So M5, you will be in this already. Somewhere around here. So second entry wherever on that one. Look at this. This is almost a given. Probably today or tomorrow. We'll see. Catch up on the chat. Afternoon, said hello. SRPT Indy. SRPT. I was trying to come up with a really clever. The trouble is, this is why I've just made this a little cheapy one, because it's not the only thing I've really coded. Well, I've done a lot of coding actually, a lot, because there's a lot of stuff that just wasn't compatible, had to be completely rewritten. But anyway, it's the support resistance is the main focus of this, and propulsion targets. That's the main focus, the indicator. So I was trying to come up with a clever name for it, but I just decided to call it what it is. It draws support and resistance and propulsion gap targets. SRPT. There we go. So the SRPT indicator, Brian has now christened it. That's what it's called. SRPT. That's a mouthful. I'm never going to get that right. Aussie, New Zealand. We looked at that one. CAD Swiss. Just quickly check what the Dow's up to. Wow. Totally sideways. So CAD Swiss, nicely extended to the downside. Hourly RSI, we're down at support. We're literally tapping into the weekly support right now. So this is your weekly support bounce. 100 ADR. Typically, these sorts of levels, what's this look like on the 4? Yeah. So this level down here potentially is going to be another target. That's an older level. I turn my monthlies off for some reason. Let me turn those back on. Okay. I was going to say, why is that not drawn support? I hate it when something doesn't do what I'm expecting it to do, because I always assume it's going to be a bug. It's not. It's just me being silly. I turned it off earlier because I wanted to double test it. It works. Aussie, New Zealand, 150, still pushing. So that's your weekly, your monthly support. That is our next stop, which is 175 ADR. If we get all the way down to 175 ADR without stopping, we're going to be similar sort of move to that. Not quite that vast, obviously, but we will expect at least a very nice pullback off of this one. What am I drawing there for? There. So yeah, very, very nice extension on the 4-hour CAD Swiss. And obviously on the hourly, very nicely extended. We're down to 12. That's the lowest for the year, I think. No, we've had a 10 back down here. That was in March. So yeah, second lowest move of the year, or second strongest move of the year to the downside for the CAD Swiss. Huge targets to the upside on this. Oil is obviously coming down, which is helping this down. Swiss franc is looking pretty strong. If you look at the euro pairs, that shows you how strong the Australian dollar is. The euro is doing okay today. Obviously, that's been held back a little bit now. So yeah, good strong move there on that one. Sorry, Dow is out the highs, definitely. M5, your 5-minute opening range and your 15-minute opening range, both long breaks now. So CAD Swiss, very nice opportunity there for a long. I'm already got one on, so I'll be taking a second either on this bounce, will I? 34, yeah. So I'll be taking a second on the next reversal, M5, which is going to be there. Oh, that's going to be tight. What I really want this to do is push up a little bit and then put a new low in to get me a tighter entry, but we'll see. So yeah, CAD Swiss, very nice. Aussie and New Zealand dollar extended to 150 now. There we go. There's 150 hit. Very, very tight reversal alert on that. Really tight. Aussie dollar CAD is now 125. So that is still pushing hard, that Australian dollar. Euro odd. Nice extension, 100, straight off the 100. No reversal alert on that, too far away. Look at the speed and strength of this Australian dollar. Look at it. Propulsion gap after propulsion gap after propulsion gap. Absolutely flying down. So all the way back up there at some point. Looking at it on the hourly, you've just got two nice, big, strong propulsion gaps left in play. That's been tested twice. So that is still valid as well. Just filled this propulsion gap. So push up into there is pretty much on the cards. You're not going to get a very good entry on that, though. It's too far away. Euro Swiss. So you'd have to take price action if you wanted to get on that one. Euro Swiss ADR just scaled out of some of this as well. Swiss franc pushing very, very hard. Nice ADR hit, nice support. So this is the weekly support that we're bouncing at the moment, but this is the target. Although this target here, when you see these propulsion gaps, it's a V-shaped recovery, not really an accumulation break. So it's not the best in the world, that one. So see it. Oh, where's it gone? There, that one. So when you get this V shape that causes a propulsion gap, this is quite often a news event, but that isn't the best in the world. What we're looking for is some kind of breakout from an accumulation. So the banks have built a book. Now they're moving it off. And they need to do a profit take move on that move. So it's not a great looking one, but it is still there. They still get filled regardless. So more downside potential on that one. I've got 2 longs on it at the moment. I'll be getting into a third on that as well. 50 odd. Oh, it's only 18.5 an ADR. So yeah, definitely. That's an ADR away, look, from my last entry now. 39 pips. It's 37 ADR. Big, strong push, that Euro Swiss. Very strong. Euro New Zealand. That one's already played out. There's the sell in it. Short. Pushed into propulsion. Looking for that to come down a little bit further. That was just shy of my target. Oh, look at that. So target on this one is 74 pips, right? That move there is just about 80. So that would have just about been ready to trigger minus the spread. I'm going to leave it because that's a wacky great propulsion gap, but that's a cheeky one. Oh my God, look at the state of this thing today. Look. Okay, so that is the biggest wick in the world. They are not interested today. They are literally just killing everybody. So glad I'm out of that one this afternoon. Here in New Zealand. Pound New Zealand. That one's come off of ADR. Nice ADR hit straight off of ADR. Short. Already short on this one. Got a couple of got one on from yesterday. So same as the Euro New Zealand, pretty much. That one's already played out. If you took that one, you're looking for third of an ADR roughly. That's 71 pips. 81 is half an ADR, so that would have hit TP already. New Zealand dollar Swiss. ADR hit, not gone anywhere. So we just basically pushed down, got the reverse alert, and we're just sitting in an accumulation at the minute. And New Zealand dollar yen. Again, same thing. So you would have had a reversal alert there. And then the second one was there. So pretty much at the same spot after the ADR hit. Back up into there at some point. So I got out of the New Zealand dollar yen shorts. And that one back there this morning on that push down. So nice looking potential long opportunity there. That was extended on the hourly RSI as well, but not to 75. So it's a little bit shallow for me. So that's pretty good. So there's lots of opportunities there on those. Your RSIs are pretty much the same as they were this morning. Let's just catch up on the chat before I go on to those. When I run the ADR set file on the strategy tester, with it set to take positions 0.75 ADR apart, it takes them at the correct spacing. When I run a live account, it took them 5 pips apart. You've got a problem on your magic numbers somewhere or something, I don't know. It can't take it 5 pips apart unless there's a magic number conflict or something, James. I would check your magic numbers. Afternoon outro. Guess whose alarm didn't go off and slept through the huge move on the DAX this morning? Oh dear. Guess who didn't bother to take the DAX this morning? Because yesterday it was an absolute bloody nightmare. So I thought, I'm not going to bother today. I'm not going to get stuck in that thing again. Missed it. I posted it out on the socials. It was a lovely trade, but I didn't take it myself either. Very annoying. Andrew, Aussie dollar yen. Aussie dollar yen extended on the... actually, no, it's not. Sorry, no, that's another one. Yen was extended. I'm sure I saw yen extended. Did I not? That was this morning, probably. So yeah, no, nothing today on the Aussie dollar yen. It's just sitting there sideways. I've got 2 shorts on at the moment on the H1M5 strategy. Propulsion gap targets are up here. This yen is still weak. It's a little bit stronger than it has been. So we are starting to roll over on the yens, but the Australian dollar today is an absolute steam train. So nothing is getting in the way of that at the moment. So you're looking at coming back up into these areas potentially, and then coming back down to sort that lot out. So that sort of movement. Yeah. Or we may well just come straight down to there and then come up and do that later. Again, it's kind of what I've just covered in this video that I've just put together for the indicator, because just don't know. One or the other, isn't it? But it's not extended at the moment in either direction. 4 hour is 4 hours extended just. Yeah, so that is just about. So, but you can see here, look, we've got ever so slight, if I zoom in, you've got ever so slight divergence on this at the moment. So we're making higher highs, yeah, and we're making lower highs on the RSI. So that's bearish divergence after this strong push. The thing with this is, and the thing with all of these yens at the moment, we have had no profit take on this entire move. So that is basically what we're waiting to happen. So bear with me 1 second. Got to get a delivery. 1 sec. Smiley face has arrived. Nothing exciting for me, unfortunately. It's all for the wife. Oh no, good husband. It is a birthday. Still getting the stop loss problem, Adrian. Still getting the stop loss problem on all of my 2 live accounts and prop, but not on demo accounts. What's the stop loss problem? It does not happen all the time, but every now and then. I don't know what that is. Oh, is it were you who it was sometimes placing stops and sometimes not? I don't know what that is. I've never heard of it. I've never experienced it. The only thing I can think of is it is a magic number conflict of some kind. So what I would suggest you do, if you can, is come on, when it wakes up. Try and basically clear your global variables. If you go to tools or hit F3 on your keyboard, it'll bring up the global variables, yeah? And the global variables are how the EA stores a lot of the information on last price and all that sort of stuff. So you can clear that information and then just restart the platform. But I don't know. I don't know what that would be. I haven't got any experience of it not removing stops. The only thing I can think is that the VPS or the machine you've got it on is too slow, and it's just not getting through. The problem you have with MT4, not with MT4, but with just the machine in general, is MT4 executes everything in order. So if you've got 28 pairs all executing at the same time, it builds a queue. It has a timeout. And if it can't get through that queue in time, it won't execute some of those parts of the script, and then it will wait for the next execution. So you do have instances occasionally where it just doesn't get through everything it's got to do. in which case then just double the power of your VPS and that problem would go away. That's the only thing I can really think of on that one. Jeez, look at the Dow. And the DAX. No, DAX is actually still rallying. NASDAQ, still rallying. Wow. Totally, this thing today, the Dow. Just goes to show you, doesn't it? You know, and all that back testing I did on the opening range breakout strategy, you get totally different results on different instruments on different days. Like this today has been an absolute dream. The DAX this morning was an absolute dream. The Dow this afternoon is a nightmare. The Dow yesterday was lovely. It's just totally random. And that's the whole purpose of the strategy, is that you go with and you make the money on the days where it wants to give you the money. The days it doesn't want to give you the money, it will just take it away. Nothing you can do about it. But look at this NASDAQ today. Absolutely beautiful. That's what I said when we first came onto the stream, wasn't it? People are buying Tesla. They're selling the rest of the automotive industry. Actually, that's not fair because the Dow hasn't got much auto in it. But, yeah, very big, big push. That was the one to take this afternoon. DAX is just completely stuck. Oil is still attempting new lows as well. Sorry, let me just catch up on this. Afternoon, Luke. US dollar yen, euro Swiss 125 ADR, Swiss franc. This looks like a really strong Swiss franc. No, maybe euro. Euro's just had a little bit of a drop. Nothing dramatic. Oh, we had some news on the euro. So this is interesting. EU Parliament approved the first block-wide crypto regulation. So the whole purpose of crypto is it is anonymous and unregulated. As soon as you start regulating it, it's the death of crypto. Thanks for the follow. Oh, yes. Sorry, I missed you. And the language that's just appeared on the screen that I don't understand and can't read. Welcome aboard, whoever you are. I can't pronounce your name because I can't even begin to understand what that says. Sorry about that. Yeah, so obviously the regulation of crypto will really hurt it, because the whole purpose of it is it's something different to normal currency. When it becomes regulated, it becomes another currency. So therefore it will probably, or they will become just another cross of the whatever. So that's interesting. That's the first sort of step towards complete regulation of crypto, if it's even fully regulatable. I don't know, but interesting. So we had that this morning. And also the ECB, some members would have preferred that the key interest rates not be raised. So there's still a bit of conflict within the ECB about a 1.25%, and about whether or not they should have raised the rates on the last one because of the Credit Suisse crisis. So there was a lot of saying, you know, we need to stop at the moment, wait for this banking thing to be over. As it happened, there wasn't actually much more of a problem, was there? So it was the right decision to make. But there's this bit of wrangling going on in the ECB at the moment. And it says again, financial market tensions were viewed as a substantial source of uncertainty. We know that. So yeah, there is potential movement for euro. There's a bit of uncertainty at the moment because we were expecting something, and now they're seeming like they're being a little bit more cautious. So we will see what happens with that. Right, RSIs we'll cover. Let me just quickly catch up on the US dollar yen we wanted to look at. That's not on the list. We can have a look at that quickly now. So hourly RSI extensions are nowhere. I've got two shorts on that at the moment. I'm waiting for it to come down and finish all these propulsion gaps to the downside. So yeah, short at the minute. Obviously, US dollar had bad news. Yens, if you look at the yens across the board, they're not really doing a massive amount today. CAD obviously will be coming down with the US dollar. The euro seems a little bit weak today as well, and the pound. Yeah, everything's a little bit weak against the yen today. So, yeah, long may that continue. How far do you think pound yen goes? I have no idea. I would say up to the next support or down to the next support resistance. So where we are at the minute, upside, very little. Upside, you're looking at coming back to here, which is months ago. This is back in December. So that's quite a long way away. And then obviously back to, I guess, October time there. So upside wise, we'd be looking to come somewhere up to the 169 level, which 170, which is 200 ADR from where we are at the moment. Downside, well, dependent on the yen strength, obviously, as much as the yen wants to push, the yen tends to do things like that. When it moves, the yen tends to move fast, hard, multiple ADRs in a row. So I'm short on all these yens at the minute, waiting for some kind of movement, which we seem to be starting, although we did seem to start it there, and then we didn't. So we went sideways for a week after that. So there's just no strength in the yens at the minute. Very difficult to pick a downside target. But that's obviously where I'm expecting it to come back to, and all the way back down to there as well. So there's two strong levels. But how long it will take to get there, I don't know. Difficult to tell. Amazon. Away he is. Amazon, yes. I buy everything from Amazon. I don't understand people that don't buy from Amazon, because you get the cheapest price, because every supplier in the world that lists on Amazon, which is pretty much everybody, is bidding to try and get themselves into the cheapest price box to sell you their stuff. They've all got stock. So when that guy runs out of stock, it moves on to the next bloke at the cheapest price. So you always get the cheapest price, and it's delivered either today or tomorrow. Why would you ever go shopping again? People say to me, oh, no, I don't like Amazon. You have to pay £80 a year. It's like, well, yeah, you get a TV channel with films and telly all included and lots of really good quality content, and you don't pay for delivery ever again in your life for anything that you buy online at the cheapest price. Is that worth 80 quid a year? Is when you get 10 deliveries a week like I do. I buy coffee from there, I buy everything. It's amazing. The only thing I haven't got is stocks in Amazon, which I should have. All stops hit in live accounts, but not on demo. Okay. Don't use stops. You won't get them hit. You nailed it. Same magic on two pairs. And that answers my next question. Right, okay. Good. It's always, whenever there's a problem with the market reversal at CA, 99% of the time, it's magic number related. It just is always magic number related. A lot of EAs you buy out there and a lot of the EAs that you see out there, they all work on magic numbers. Most of them do. The ones that don't are the ones that are a little bit dangerous, because a lot of the time they will interfere with other trades that are going on. They do things in different ways. Magic numbers is the way that MT4 or MetaQuotes has always wanted everything to work, because it means that if that magic number doesn't exist on that trade, there is no other EA that should really be able to touch it. But then you get people coming out and making these EAs that go, oh, just do it with any order that's in the market. Yeah. And they ignore magic numbers. So you get these conflicts, which is why I have magic numbers in my products, which is the kind of recommended way to do everything. But pound odd ADR, it's all on the move today. Pound odd coming down very nicely. This Australian dollar is on an absolute mission. Adrian, was happening at home, but now happening on VPS as well. Don't know. You're the only person that's ever mentioned it ever happening out of however many hundreds of people that are using the product. So I don't really know what to say, Adrian, to that. As long as you've got stop loss turned off and you've got unique magic numbers, if I would just restart everything, just go back to square one and recheck everything. Something's wrong somewhere. Aussie dollar, US dollar is ADR. Again, Aussie dollar pair. So nice ADR extension. Propulsion gap fill, complete. No target to the upside. All you've got is resistance to the upside. No propulsion gap targets. We've got this one there, which is, ooh, that's tricky. That might be done. That's tiny and has been tested. That's a tricky one. There's nothing obvious on that. So this is obviously just weak US dollar today, which means we should be seeing bullish price action on the Dow. Come on, Dow. Finally. Oh, that means the Nasdaq's going through the roof, isn't it? Yeah. Lovely. God, anybody take that? Outro, did you take that? I'm long Nas with 1R locked in. Perfect. That was the trade today. That was the pre-market 15 or the 5-minute ORB. Either of them, both of them worked. Beautiful. AU. I just looked at Aussie or US. It's a 5-minute reversal in a minute. Nicely extended on the hourly, just about. So getting ready to get into shorts on that one on the reversal alert. So just delete all global variables, Adrian. Yeah, so I mean, you've got to be careful with anything you do with especially with my EA, because my EA does partial drawdown control. If you reboot your machine, for example, what the EA does is it says, right, I'm going to wait for price to move a certain distance away from my trade, like half an ADR, and then I'm going to do some partial drawdown control on it. If you reboot the machine or you change settings or something, it goes, oh, okay, right, I'm starting again. Oh, we've moved half an ADR again, and it will close another bit out. Yeah. So you've got to be careful. It depends on your portfolio, how many pairs you've got running, what's going on as to what the EA will do if you delete those globals and restart. I would only recommend doing that if you're flat or you're happy to go flat on everything. So, but I can't come up with a reason why it wouldn't do what it's programmed to do. It does it for everybody else, you know. And I've got a signal running, which has been, the EA has been running on my VPS for 80 weeks. It's never done anything wrong. It's just done exactly what it's meant to do. And I've got it running on three VPSs with 4 different brokers, demo and live, and it's never ever done that. So I don't really know what to suggest for it. It's a tricky one. The only thing I can say is check your journal and experts tab and see if there's something in there. Might help. Have you covered pound CAD? Yes, I think so. It's an ADR hit, isn't it? No, it's not an ADR hit. Pound CAD extended to the upside, so it's a short. Down into there. 2R locked in on NAS. Good job. How many digits can be used for magic numbers? I've no idea. Never been asked. Never looked into it. Start at 1. You're not going to need more than 100. You shouldn't need more than 56. 28 pairs. 2 magic numbers on each. 56. Play sorty gains. Morning all. Late again. The swing will hopefully get be out of those shite trades I put in W no stop. Been stuck for days. Fingers crossed. Trying to get out and finish the boot camp. Okay. That was really hard to read. I have the same problem since yesterday. I've been removing the stop loss manually. Okay. What set files? You guys send me your set files. I will do some testing. Send me your set files in Telegram and let me know what platform you're on. And I'll do some testing. That's all I can do. See if I can replicate the problem. If I can't replicate the problem, I can't fix it. This is the problem. And anybody that's been in IT will attest to this fact. Someone goes, this doesn't work. And you go, okay, fine, let me have a look. Yeah, it does work. No, it doesn't work. Well, it does work for me. If you can't replicate the problem, you can't fix the problem. This is the problem. So I don't know. What you could also get is an EA that removes stop losses, so that it runs literally every 5-minute candle. It removes stop losses or something like that. Build a quick EA that does that. I could build you a quick EA that does that in 2 minutes. So you just stick it on another pair and say every trade on this terminal, remove the stop loss every 5 minutes. So there is a solution, but I can't figure out why it would be doing it. So 3R locked in on NAS. All right, outro, stop going on about it. I'm happy for you. Good trade. So there is your 5-minute opening range break. You are 4R. 3R, easy. 4R. 5R is that propulsion gap. Beauty today, absolute beauty. So the opening range was somewhere in the region of 190. The strongest pullback we've had is 218. So you probably would have got stopped out if you were using 110. If you're using a 110, anything less than a 120% of the opening range as a trailer, you would have been stopped out there. But that's still 2R, so very nice. We are just coming up into that propulsion gap as well, so be careful. This is the high of the day, Globex high, which has just been sold into. What's that Dow up to? DAX up to? Long. 1.4%. I'm just going to move break even. I've got a couple of Dow trades running, scalps, so I'm just going to move those to break even. How much profit is that? So on this Dow trade, I'm going for this propulsion gap fill. Basically, this move this morning, that is a propulsion gap. That is a propulsion gap. That is a propulsion gap retest. So this whole thing is one massive propulsion gap. If you go up onto a higher time frame, like up onto sorry, this is M15. If you go up onto a higher time frame, let's look at it on the other platform. There you go. You can see it there. Look. So this whole thing basically is one massive propulsion move. I'm fully expecting them to come back and replicate and just fill that in. So I've taken along on the DAX down here. We had a reversal alert here. I took an entry down here when we started to push back up with the Price Action Toolkit. So as we pushed down, we put in this candle and then we pushed back up. I took an entry there. And then as we pushed up, I took a second, and that's the trade. So I'm targeting that high, which is the retest of the propulsion gap, as a double top, potentially, for sellers to start to step in. So that's TP1. TP2 is there. But what I might do, actually, is just say, screw it, let's go for it. I'm just going to watch price action at this level. And when we get to there, I'll probably just lock in some profit. We must stop up. Looking good. Diamonds coming in with the technicals, look. That's all right. I don't mind your live updates, outro. It's good. I like it when people are making lots of money with my products. It's good. The magic number is an int with a range of 2147 483 647. So it should be plenty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 characters. There you go. So you should have enough. I was planning on using a random number generator for automatically solving this problem of people forgetting to put their things in, but it's not the right way to do it. So I didn't. Outro, I manage them manually once it closes the first range, so I move to break even once it closes through the second range. Excellent. Only on the NAS though. On the DAX, I enter on M5 and manage it on M5. Yeah. Cool. Yarp. Concerning Trade Manager dashboard, is there any chance to get an update in the future for setting x-axis offset for historical data columns? To be able to use it on smaller monitors? Why would you need an x-axis offset? Because on smaller monitors, it just does that. Look. So if your monitor is smaller, it will look like that. So how does offsetting this over here make any difference? I mean, I probably could, but I don't see why you'd need to. That's why I put it as a Y offset. So that you could have it on a smaller monitor and it doesn't crash when you've got multiple positions on. I split it on my monitor. I think you might be the only person with that problem. To answer the question, an x-axis offset with the way this is coded is actually quite difficult to do. It's quite a lot of hitting about, as I call it. So I'll put it on the list though. Yeah, could do. Right, RSIs. Let's look at the RSIs. Sorry. What should I do with this? So I'm just kind of babysitting this trade now because what I don't want to do is get stopped out on it. I'm just going to close that part out. And let the rest of it run. Whoops, up to there. And I'm going to stick a trailer on it of 3095. Call it 3000. So yeah, I'm just going to let the rest of that run. See if I can get that complete gap fill done, because that would be a really nice trade. That's $700, and I've just banked 300, so that's $1,000 day. Would be nice. So looking for that push, basically back up to ADR. So looking for an ADR hit to the downside and then a hit back up into ADR. So a whole ADR range move back up. That's why I'm not convinced it's going to happen, because that's a big ask. Get all the way back up there. Right, RSIs. Aussie dollar CAD. 1 hour. This is off the chart. So we're up in a monthly support now. I can tell that because I've got my new indicator on here and it's a purple line instead of a black one. So that's previous month high. We're up to there, which is actually, no, that's not. That is 2 months ago low. So that is this move down where we bounced. And we bounced and bounced and bounced and bounced and bounced and bounced. We broke through, bounced again, broke through, bounced, bounced, bounced. Probably going to bounce. So that's why you have older support resistance levels on. So Aussie dollar CAD, that's very nice level there. That propulsion gap is virtually done anyway, but if we push up 175 ADR, we're running into previous week's resistance. So if we get all the way up to there without a breather, it's going to need to do the mother of all profit takes. So we've had this push, accumulation, push, flag, break, no profit take move whatsoever since we started the move on this week. So this is hit its weekly range obviously already as well. So massive extension on the RSI. So hopefully this will be the start of that profit take move, come back down and sort these gaps to the downside out. My average is down here because I've only got the one position on. We haven't had a reversal alert on this all day. So this is now 125 ADR with no market structure break to the downside at all. So this is an absolute steam train. Dropping down onto the lower time frames, your next reversal alert is going to be very, very tight on it. So this is what I'm saying. This could be one of those ones where you get in and it is like just bang, straight down to target same day. Really nice ADR reversal. So good one on that. That's hourly extension. We're above the 80 level. So very, very, very extended. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar on the 4 hour. We know that one's extended because the Aussie's pushing mad. Coming up into these propulsion gaps. So once those are filled, we've got a potential drop back down into here. That is assuming all it's going to do is continue to push back up again. There's a very high probability of it doing a pullback much, much, much deeper on that big, long move. But that could take a week or so to play out that move. So nice short if you're not in it. Very nice extension. We've got divergence. We had divergence there as well. Yeah, so it's a double divergence on the RSI. Very, very strong bear signal. We will get a nice big profit take on that at some point. That New Zealand needs to wake up though. Aussie dollar, US dollar, we've kind of looked at this one already. RSI extension, ADR extension to the upside, RSI extension on the hourly. Potential coming up into this area here, which is 125 to 150 ADR. We haven't got any more news today, but tomorrow is massive news all day long. PMI day tomorrow, starting at 8:15 with the euro for the French, then the German, which is the larger of the two, then the overall Eurozone. So the German one is the one you want to pay the most attention to, 8:30. An hour later, we've got the pound coming out. Then we've got retail for the CAD, and then 2:45, 15 minutes after market open, we have the PMIs for the US dollar. So opening range breakout tomorrow, be very careful tomorrow afternoon because the market is not going to want to put any big moves in until it knows what the PMI figures are. So just be very careful of that one tomorrow. But we've got movement across the board, euro, pound, and US dollar tomorrow. So we've had negative news today. Aussie's doing very, very well today. Very big, strong moves on that. So there's potential for that all to get completely undone. That's not very good. That's not very good. That is mediocre. But I suspect we'll get some strength on the US dollar at some point. It may need to come all the way back up here, though, first, which is obviously going to be potentially a day, 2 days, maybe 3. So this could take a while to undo. But I'll be getting into that just about potentially. Might need to push a little bit more, but we'll see. So that's nicely extended. The CAD Swiss is extended on the 4 and the 1. So the 4 hour extension is the double bottom bounce off of the weekly support. Yeah, so that's looking good. Look at that massive move. This thing hasn't looked back. 1, 2, 3, 4, tiny little pause. 7 candles, pretty much straight down. So ADR today, we've just had the reversal alert. Beautiful confluence. There's your reversal alert at the previous week's low, with a massive extension on RSI on the 4 hour and the 1 hour. Beautiful upside targets all over the place. Looks great. Lovely looking long opportunity. 3-bar reversal, push down, pause, push. Looks good. In that already. That's extended on the 4 and the 1 hour. 1 hour extension on that is even bigger. Look, we're down below the 20 level. We got down to 13. Big strong one, that one. Euro CAD extended to the upside. Potential double top coming up on this one. and that is also the previous week's high as well. So we've got last week's high and the previous week's high. Good confluence. So that's a double top on the weekly. Targets to the downside. Very simple short. It's just come out of extension. It's not very extended, not extended enough for me to take it. It is the 4 hour as well. So that's a nice 4 hour, actually, M5. So drop down M5. He's just had the reverse alert. So the H4 set file probably will be in that short EuroCAD. There you go, in one short. So that's looking good. Double top on the DAX. Thinking about it. So this is where I'm concerned that we're going to get some sellers stepping in. So everybody that's sold here, we've pushed back and we've retested the propulsion gap. So we've retested the sellers. The sellers have stepped in and go, yep, we are short, and definitely short, broken the lows. So the buyers have now started to push back, or the sellers have started a small profit take move. This point here, where we initially added to those sell orders, is potentially where they may add again. So this is why that's why I've taken that profit there, because there is a potential for this to just basically bearish engulfing and come and try and make new lows. And this they will come back to at a later stage. So I'm just being cautious at this level. However, if we break through this level, there's a good chance that we will use that propulsion gap there as support to push higher. Which you can't see. I'm talking about something that isn't actually drawn on the chart. So it would make more sense. Go to this one. Yeah. So that's your double top there. Yeah. That's your propulsion gap. So be looking to get bought out of that basically, and then come all the way up the top up there. EuroCAD, Euro Swiss, extended on the hourly. It's already played out. M5 reversal alert was there, long in it. So yeah, already in it. So that was extended to the hourly side, on the hourly to the downside. Already in this from ages ago. Just stuck in the Euro Swiss. It's been literally push, accumulate, push, accumulate, push. Absolutely nowhere for an entire week. Take out last week's low and hopefully now push back up to those highs, which is basically this propulsion gap fill or that one. So this target here is basically where we should come back up to, which is 225 ADR away. That target there, which has been tested and sold into multiple times, would be worst case scenario. My average is here, so going to be watching price action closely at that point. But yeah, nice extension on the hourly. So there's an opportunity for that for a long. We looked at these ones this morning. The pound odd extended to the downside. This is an ADR hit in the last hour. We are just extended now, about to get a signal on the 25 on the RSI. It's going to come and test that. It'd be very stupid not to come down and do 125 ADR today after coming all the way down there. So propulsion targets to the upside once this one is done. Although we have got another one down here. So 175 ADR potentially. So either that level is going to hold, we're going to bounce back out of it, or we're going to come back down into there and bounce back out of that. Yeah, there you go. Nice looking long opportunity on that one. Pound odd. Pound CAD. Extended to the upside. Just got in short on this one. RSI extension. Beautiful targets to the downside. This Canadian dollar today is getting hammered. Oil ADR. We did it. We did it. Pound CAD. So remind me where we got to. So oil, the short has hit ADR. So that's the target. So I'm now 0.75 away from getting out of the short. That was where we initially looked at taking the short on the break of there. And yes, beautiful. So the gap fill is on the way. We might make it today. My target is literally just above the gap high. So just above 175 ADR. So if we get down there today, be careful, because that is likely to get a big old reaction as soon as that gap fill's done. They'll be buying the crap out of that. Pound CAD. So yeah, so that's already started to play out. We've had the 5-minute reverse alert this morning. Actually, no, we had the 5-minute reverse alert about half an hour ago. There's your entry there. Gap fill if you're only taking the initial position. If you're in, like I am, with other positions, it needs to come down further. Pound Swiss extended down to the downside. Already got positions on this one. So getting a bit squeezed. This Swiss franc's been a bit of a nightmare. It's been very, very, very strong. So looking for a push up into Propulsion on this one. Ideally all the way back up to there at some point, but not at the moment. And US dollar CAD we've got on the 4-hour. We looked at this one this morning. That's played out. So that was the 4-hour RSI extension we looked at in the London session this morning. Your reversal alert on M5 there. You're short. Down there now. So that was good. That's already played out though. Continuation short, maybe. However, this is bullish. This should be rallying. Really should be rallying, this US dollar, but it's just so weak at the minute. And US dollar Swiss hourly RSI extension to the downside. So that's a nice looking opportunity for a long. This Propulsion gap, I suspect, is where we're headed. We're just double bottoming at the minute. So down to there and then back up. M5 on that. Just had the reverse alert on that one. So if you look at what happens when we've got this gap fill done, we're very close to putting in last week's low, and then we've got this gap fill to complete. That's pretty much done, that one. It's pretty much there. So push back up. But again, we're going to need this Swiss franc to take its foot off the gas a little bit. Bit strong at the moment. There we go. So that's everything covered. Jarmans, thank you for answering. I will use YYMMDD plus. Okay. Do that. Why not? People do overcomplicate these magic number things, right? I started at 1 and I finished at 56. I haven't touched it. Why do we have to have more complex magic numbers than 1, 2, whatever the highest number is? Seems really simple to me. I just basically, whenever I'm starting a new account with the EA or anything, I literally just start with the first one, and I start at 1 and 2, and I go 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Look, this is 17 and 18. I guarantee the next one's going to be what? 19 and 20. 3 guesses what the next one is. 21, 22, 23, 24. And we stop up here at 55 and 56 because there's 28 Forex pairs. There's 2 numbers. So the total sum is 56 magic numbers. Really easy. I don't know why everyone gets confused with it. I'm not saying I'm not having a go at you, James. I'm just, you know, it's to me, it's maybe I'm just simple. It's just an overcomplication of something that should be really easy. I think people muck about with things too much, whereas I just stick it on and just forget about it, which is probably the difference. So what you're trying to say is tomorrow is going to be fun. Yeah, with the PMIs. So I'm not here tomorrow. I'm not doing a live room tomorrow morning. I'm not doing one Monday because I'm off. I am around tomorrow morning. But I'll be doing other things because I'm going away. So yeah, basically I'm not here tomorrow. So PMIs tomorrow. I will be monitoring PMIs, obviously. So there we go. Why can't we put a magic word like abracadabra? Because a magic number can't contain letters. There you go. I don't make the rules. Meta quotes, software do. Don't shoot the messenger. Dow, ORB to the upside. That's just a mess today. The Dow is just a nightmare. We're pulling back on the highs. I would suspect my... Oh, the DAX is still pushing that. I really want to close this. I don't like it. I just don't like the fact that the rest of these guys are coming down really hard. I'm going to shut that out. After this move this morning, this to me just feels heavy. I'm not convinced we're going to do it. If we do it, fine. I don't care. But I'd rather just have that $500 in the bank and keep that trade on. We got a massive bearish engulfing going on, and we're just about to put a reversal alert in on the Nasdaq with all these propulsion gap targets to the downside to fill. And the Dow is rejecting yesterday's high. Sorry, the previous daily low, rather, and yesterday's low. So this whole area here is previous support. So this low, this low. So this zone here, basically. Let's draw it on properly. Yeah, so we've got this low here. We've got that low there. Extrapolate it down to take that into account. And basically, that is your triple bottom break and retest. I don't like it. As much as I think they're going to come and do this propulsion gap, I haven't got enough faith in it after a move like that. The market sold off so aggressively this morning. It might do. It might do. Can't risk it. Tom. First ever trade with the EA. Took a short on Aussie dollar CAD. I trust the process though. Just joined. Evening, everyone. Evening, Tom. James, no offense taken. Yeah, I wasn't having a go at you. I was just saying. It's the bane of my life, magic numbers. It really is, but they're important. Which is why I have a big, that's why I do the video and everything. But it's there's so much to take in. It's very easy to miss stuff. Do you do 1 to 1? No, you're in one, Rajiv. This is a 1 to 86. It's about as close as you're going to get. So this is what the live room's for 1-to-1s, but you are having to share it with 86 other people. Look at that. I bet the DAX is doing the same, look. It is. Should have held it. Not scared. Are you coming west to the what? To the Banal Bray? I can't even say that, Virginia. Are you coming west to the Banal Bray Chainyog? No, I'm not. I'm staying in the UK. Press the like for me. Yeah, keep pressing the like button, everybody. Get the thumbs up. Yeah, no, I'm not going west. Not that adventurous. I used to be adventurous. I went traveling for 10 months. I traveled all over the world. I've been everywhere. That's not true. I haven't been everywhere. I've been all over Thailand, Cambodia, Asia, all over there, Australia, New Zealand, America, Singapore, Hong Kong. Obviously done Europe to death because I get there in 2 hours. But no, I haven't been over that way. Right, that's all I've got for you at the minute. So lots of opportunities all over the place at the moment. However, we've got a lot of stuff pushing hard. So there's quite a few instruments at the moment, or quite a few currencies which are on a mission, Aussie being one of them. And New Zealand obviously was very, very weak, but is kind of holding out a little bit now. So yeah, a lot of movement, but not a lot of direction, is there, at the minute, apart from these very, very slow grinds. So I think the main thing we need is we need the yen to power up and give us a bit of respite on all these yen pairs, which is starting to happen across the board. So it's just whether or not these moves are going to continue. If we can get some of this yen strength in, that will help the US dollar as well. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. New Welsh name for the Brecon Beacons. Oh, the Brecon Beacons, Welsh. Yes. Banau Brechin. You have to do that when you speak Welsh, don't you? Oh, that hurts your throat. I couldn't speak Welsh. Pop de ping. That's the only Welsh word I know. Banks 3R outro. Good job. Lee, I saw a YouTube video of a historian that likes to travel to these historical places, and he went to Hitler's Eagle's Nest. That place is an absolute beauty on tip of mountains with snow. Yeah. Yeah, Eagle's Nest was, that was in Bavaria, wasn't it, I think? Somewhere? Yeah. Haven't done Germany. It's one of the countries I haven't been. Don't breach your tongue. I don't even know how to breach my tongue. I should. My brother and sister-in-law used to live in Wales, so I spent quite a lot of time in Wales. But they're not Welsh, so didn't really speak. Where'd you come in Australia? Everywhere. I've got relatives in Perth, so we went Perth, drove from Perth to Melbourne. We flew from Melbourne to Alice Springs. Then we did Uluru and all that lot. We drove from Alice Springs back down to Melbourne on the Stuart Highway. Then we flew from Melbourne to Sydney. I'm going Australian now, look. We went from Sydney up to Brisbane. Then we did all the stuff over in Brisbane. Did all the islands and stuff. I went to Rottnest Island over in Perth as well. Then we went to Canberra, back to Sydney, then flew over to Tasmania for 2 weeks, and back to Sydney, and went inland a bit and did other bits and bobs. Yeah. Did a lot of Australia, considering I was only there for 4 weeks. No, 6 weeks. 6 weeks in Australia. 4 weeks in New Zealand. Have to say, sorry, Tom, preferred New Zealand. It's only because Lord of the Rings was shot there. Mr. Adelaide. Did we go to Adelaide? We went to Port Lincoln. We drove from Perth. So we basically drove from here all down to Margaret River and all that area. And then we took the coastal road. So, yeah, no, we did go to Adelaide because we drove to... No, sorry, that's a lie. We drove from Perth to Adelaide. We flew from Adelaide to Alice. Then we drove the Stuart Highway back down to Melbourne. That's what we did. I did Adelaide, but we only stayed there for one night because we went up to Alice. So all that lot. And then we went from Melbourne to Tassie for 2 weeks. Then we flew back to Sydney, did the Blue Mountains, came back to Canberra. Then we drove up to Brisbane and did all the stuff in Brisbane before we came back to Sydney. That's the way we did it. I was just trying to think. I can't remember. I couldn't remember. That's how we did it. We were trying to do it the most efficient way, obviously, because but it's really cool because you've got Virgin Blue in Australia. So there's all these little flights you can take all over the place and they cost next to nothing, which is brilliant. So I think actually we flew from, no, that's right. We drove from Sydney up to Brisbane. Then we flew from Brisbane back to Sydney because it only costs like $30 or something stupid. Yeah. Tom, goddamn, I was definitely expecting just a short trip to Sydney, not a whole exploration of the country. Oh no, I did it properly. Yeah, 6 weeks. Spent most of it in the car. That was the best bit. Driving that Stuart Highway. There's no speed limit on the Stuart Highway, is there? And we got given a V8 Kia, some luxury Kia, but it was a V8. So obviously the roads are obviously, I don't know if you've done the Stuart Highway, but it's dead straight and it's literally like dead carcasses of cattle, vultures, the odd Aboriginal walking past, which scares the life out of you, the odd burnt car, and the odd road train which is about half a mile long that you have to overtake and hope that a road train isn't coming the other way. But hey, you're doing 150 miles an hour, so who gives a crap? That was brilliant. And obviously, if you run out of petrol, you're dead, which was, again, not particularly pleasant. Or if the car broke down, you're dead. Or you got to wait for the next road train to come along and then hope that the guy in the road train isn't going to kill you. Hopefully nobody drives road trains in here. You're probably quite nice guys, but big, scary, burly blokes wearing cork hats is actually a thing. Who'd have thunk it? So yeah, did all that. Spent a long time there. And then we flew over to this lovely place over here, which is absolutely amazing. So we went whale watching in Kaikoura. Then we went down to Christchurch. Then we went over to Mount Hutt and skied before we went down to Queenstown and did more skiing, staying in ice hotels, and then went and climbed on a glacier and then went up to Waiatapu and looked at glowworms, and then went to somewhere else and looked at thermal stuff. Rotorua, there it is, Rotorua. Went to Rotorua and looked at all the thermal stuff. This is an amazing island. Amazing. So beautiful as well. You can go there, do it. Spend 2 weeks there. Newcastle, yeah. New Zealand definitely on your list, yeah. It's one of the best places I went traveling. I took 10 months basically off. I went, screw work, can't be asked. So I took 20 grand and went off and traveled the world. Best thing I ever did. Then you have kids and then you can't do it. So you have to do it when you've got no children, or take them with you, but then it costs 3 times as much. I'll meet you in Vegas at some, rent some Lambos, film some promos for the channel. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Lose some cash at the casinos. Yeah, we'll go and do that thing where they flick the dollar bills as well, because that's obviously what traders do. All promos need to be done in Crocs. Yeah. That was brilliant. We confused someone very badly in Australia when we were in Byron Bay. We went to Byron Bay. We stayed there for about 3 nights. And we went to the Quicksilver shop and went in, and my wife wanted to get some flip-flops. So he said, have you got some flip-flops? And the Australian guy was the most stereotypical surfer dude. He was muscly. He had a vest top on. He had long blonde hair. He was gorgeous. He was just like the typical surfer dude working in a surf shop. And we asked him for some flip-flops, and he looked at us and was like, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about, mate. I said, okay, well, what's some of those? He went, oh, you want a thong? I said, no, we don't want thongs. That's underwear where we come from. And he was like, no, they're thongs, mate. Flip-flops called thongs. You would have thought that they would have called it the same as us, because it's England upside down, isn't it? Basically, Australia just got a load of sun. But no, thongs. Then we had then when we went to New York, and you have the old pants thing where they wear their pants on the outside of their underwear. Confuses the hell out of us. Our pants are on the inside of our jeans or trousers. Is there any reasoning to the Australian dollar should be stronger than the CAD and the euro? No, not really. Euro odd 125 ADR. Wow, look at that. This Australian dollar is on fire. I think the euro is also falling out of bed a little bit, isn't it? Yeah. So weakness in the euro. Swiss franc as well is very weak. That's good. So yeah, if you look at the scorecard for the Australian dollar, it is all mostly longs, apart from the Aussie Swiss and the Aussie US. However, obviously we know the US dollar might be hitting terminal rate, so that might be changing. So yeah, lots and lots of sorry, that's the wrong way around. Euro odd is range bound, but because of sentiment at the moment, so that could become a negative as well. So there is an argument for the Australian dollar being fairly strong moving forward, but nothing is massively strong either way at the moment. So we shouldn't really be seeing these big strong moves on the Aussies holding. These will happen, obviously, big strong moves, but after big strong moves comes big reversals. Yeah. So, you know, this is just a push. There will be a pull on all of these Aussies. Glad I took that off. It looks like it's stalling out to me. You missed the best place in Australia, Newcastle. Where is Newcastle in Australia? We went to Brighton in Australia, which is weird because Newcastle, Adelaide, that's not going to work, is it? Oh, there you go, Newcastle. Above Sydney. Charlestown. Did we go anywhere around here? Don't think we went there. Wetlands National Park, no. No. We went to a cool place called Ballarat as well. Which is like the Wild West. Oh, no, Ballarat was down in Melbourne. Sorry, that was why we were down there. It's like the Wild West. It's really weird. They've got this kind of theme park, which is actually the Wild West. A lot of cowboys and Indians and stuff running around, which is quite amusing. Anyway, there you go. There's a history of my traveling. Imagine someone new joining the stream now. Yeah, they're not going to have a clue. This is a trading stream, by the way. It's not about Australia. If this is your first time here, we're just bored. I lived in New Zealand for 2 years. Great experience. Yeah, it's a lovely place. Really cool. All of it is. Everywhere else apart from the UK is lovely. Newcastle in the UK is better. I doubt that very much. How long have we been position trading for? About 5 years, roughly. Some in some shape or form. About 4 or 5 years. I'd say 5. Hunter Valley, that's where they make all the wine, isn't it? Hunter Valley. We went to the other one down in Perth. The Odd Aboriginal. Yeah, what on the Stuart Highway. It's really weird. You see these. Where did we go to at the bottom? It's somewhere above Adelaide. Oh no, I know where it was. Coober PD. If anybody from Australia has ever been to Coober PD, this place, you stay in these caves basically in Coober PD because it's a mining town for opal. But the actual town of Coober PD is just Aboriginals walking around everywhere. And it's quite an unnerving place when you walk around there. I saw that sign. I've got a picture of me standing in front of that, Laurie. But yeah, it's an old mining town, and all they've done is all the old mines they've made into hotels. So you go there and you go and pan for opal. Very weird. Oh, that's a good finger. Look. Someone's got their finger in the camera. Useless. But yeah, there's not any pictures of the town. Probably rightly so, because it's quite a scary place to go to. Old timers mine. There you go. I went and did some panning for opal there, or panning for gold. Panning for opal it was. Anyway, there you go. I could talk about travelling for years. Steve, afternoon, you're late. Margaret River, Harve, that's it. Margaret River is where we went to. That's south of Perth. That's the wine region south of Perth. We went down to Fremantle, which is where we went on a submarine, of all things. There you go. Very weird. At what point did you completely give up on using a stop loss? Was there a last straw at some point? Stop trying to bring the conversation back to trading, AZ. We're talking about Australia. When did I give up on using a stop loss? Just before I started position trading, basically. I haven't completely given up on using a stop loss. Because obviously I do still get out of positions, and I will still get out of whole positions sometimes. But actually putting a physical stop in the market was about 5 years ago. So what I started doing, the way I developed the position trading strategy, was I started taking my trades and I started using literally a third of the risk and not a stop loss, because I was fed up getting stopped out by my broker mainly. And I had done a course by a guy, I can't remember his name, and he taught futures trading with dollar cost averaging, which was quite risky sometimes because the futures market can gap quite a lot. That was what the kind of light bulb moment was for me in the Forex market, because the Forex market was very, very liquid and moves with very, very good market structure. So I knew market structure inside out and Elliott wave. And I decided that if I got into a position at what I thought was going to be the ABCD point and we were going to pull back, that if that wasn't the right spot and it was going to turn from an ABC pattern into an ABCD pattern, what I would do is then, well, let's just take the D, because if the C doesn't work, the D will work. And then obviously I'll be able to get out without losing any money on that trade using that one. So what I decided to do was scale in with 2 positions and no stop loss. But if it invalidated, I would exit the position. And that started working so well. I then thought, well, hang on a minute. If I do that and it still pushes down further, surely I should be able to get a new pattern form before the next leg back up. Because obviously market structure moves like that. So as long as there's market structure in an instrument, you should always be able to get out. And that's basically the starting point. I stopped using a stop loss and reduced my risk right down so that it didn't bother me if the trade didn't work out. And I convinced myself using tiny lot sizing that this is actually a better way to trade. And then I looked into dollar cost averaging further, discovered this is how all the banks and institutions are doing it, the hedge funds, and that's basically where it all started coming from. So I stopped using a stop loss because I kept getting stopped out, and I was profitable, but I wasn't profitable enough. And I was like, well, this is ridiculous. I can't make this profitable. But that was the psychological part of me, not the analysis skills, the trading skills, picking the instruments. It was me psychologically couldn't handle the fact that my strategy couldn't get over a 50% strike rate, and it drove me nuts. So I decided to remove the thing that stopped me making the money, that stopped me losing the money. Yeah. So I had a P&L that looked like this. Yeah. It was positive. I was profitable, but it was hell. I hated it. So I watched a video by, I can't remember his name. No Nonsense Trader. No, it can't be him because he's more recent than that. I can't remember. But I watched a video by a guy who basically was a analyst, and his approach was to refocus away from trying to improve strategies and not focus on trying to make the winning trades better. focus on trying to reduce the losing trades. Yeah. By basically reducing the risk on those or reducing the amount of losing trades that you have in your strategy. So that's where that all kind of came from, was basically refocusing myself to not focusing on trying to make that bigger, trying to focus on making that smaller. Because if you've got a P&L that looks like that, and you can make these half the size, what happens is that bit is taken out and becomes that bit on top, and it all just gets more profitable. And that led me on to, well, what if I just remove the losses completely? And here we are. I have to take losses, but I don't have to take a full loss, do I? That's what drawdown control is. So we know we're right. We know how we can get in and out of the market. We just don't know when. So this is a really bad example of the Aussie dollar, look, because it's nothing but winning trades. There's that one there. There's a winner there. There's a winner there. There's a winner there. There's a loser. Yeah. So, most of the trades win. And I had that already without using a stop loss. I was suddenly flicked a switch and my strike rate went from like 45 to 55%, straight up to 65%, literally overnight by removing a stop. Because all I was doing was removing the order that I told the market to make my losers lose. So when I told the market not to make my losers lose and instead just wait for my winners to win, like a light bulb moment. And that's what we do. But it's just a conscious decision. There was nothing specific, really, that made me do it. How do I feel about shrimp and a Barbie? Check another shrimp on the Barbie, mate. I don't think I had a Barbie all the time I was in Australia. I don't think I had one barbecue. I got barbecued many times in Perth, especially in Rottnest Island. It was 40-something degrees. I've never experienced heat like that in my life. I come from England. Yeah, we're lucky if we get to 25 in the summer. 40, it was like walking from one side of the street to the other, from one shop to the other in Perth was hell. It hurt. Every time you walked out of a shop, it actually hurt, the sun. It was horrible. And we just come from Singapore, which was just as hot, but it was a dry heat. There was no moisture in the air, so you were constantly going, because you were baking hot, but you couldn't sweat because it was a dry heat. And then you get to Perth and it's completely the opposite. It's really hot and you're just dripping all the time. Crazy. Crazy times. Did I miss Aussie New Zealand? Yes, you would have done. Aussie New Zealand is still pushing at the moment. So short on that at the moment. Average is 1.5 ADR away roughly. I've got 2 positions on. Very extended on the, was very extended on the hourly. Not so much. I say it's not very extended, it's extended. The 4-hour, however, is very extended. So we're up to 75 on the 4-hour. So we should be getting a pullback. But what we're actually looking for is, instead of getting these flag breaks, we're waiting for the pullback profit take move to start some point soon. This is the last propulsion gap before the big one. So that might be where we actually have to take a pause, put that leg in before we come back up. If that is indeed going to happen. Obviously, this is still potentially looking like a continuation short. Back down to retest that level. So we'll see. And would you say you've made the majority of your money in trading since switching to position trading? Yeah. Wildly more profitable. No, well, no, not. Yes, it's more profitable, but only because it's consistent. I was inconsistent. That was the thing that was lacking. I was profitable. This indicator you see on the screen here, this moving average in color, this is kind of what turned my trading around. When the mentor that introduced me to this way of trading introduced me to this, I suddenly became profitable because I understood market structure so much more when I saw the way that the 2472 supports price. It's it's like clockwork. So that helps you to understand market structure, and it helps you to see the patterns in the market playing out over and over again. Yeah, it helps you to see that if you get in at the wrong time, the market will give you a way out regularly. So I was profitable doing this with a stop loss. However, I would have massive losing runs. Yeah. You know, like I say, there's a strike rate with 50%. That can have 10 losing trades on the trot at 1%, which means you lose 10% of your account. So it might be a fantastically good 50% strike rate strategy. But if you have 10 losing trades on the trot and lose 10% of your account, that's a knock. So you are constantly struggling psychologically to get that 10% back, which makes you over leverage and do stupid things. Me personally, and most other traders, is what they struggle with. When you've lost a percentage of your account, you immediately are on the back foot because the market's taken money away from you. What's actually happened is the edge in your strategy is just playing out in the order of -10 plus 5, -5 plus 15. You just don't know it yet, because when that -10 happens and you lose 10%, you give up on the strategy and move on to the next one. System hopping. That's the cycle we all got stuck in. I went off on this mentor that introduced me to this profitable strategy that made me break even. I moved off from him and went off to learn Elliott Wave. And he said to me when I went off to learn Elliott Wave, "You're an idiot. You're going to be lost for 3 months in Elliott Wave. You're going to come back here and you're going to tell me exactly what Elliott Wave is. And it is the fact that the market moves up and down in market structure using moving averages that I've just shown you. I've given you Elliott Wave on a plate. If you want to learn the technicals about the A, B, C, D, E, F patterns and all that sort of crap that goes inside, fine. But when you come back in 3 months, that is exactly what you're going to tell me." And that's exactly what I went back and told him 3 months later. It's like, yeah, you're right. Elliott Wave's a load of crap. Because all it is market structure, and I know what market structure is. It's higher highs, higher lows. The waves sometimes play out in this way, sometimes play out in that way, sometimes play out in the other way. You still have no idea which wave is going to work. So you can go and say, oh, look, there's a perfect ABC pattern. What's coming next? Well, it could be that. It could be that and that. There's a number of things it could be. It could be a head and shoulders in formation. It could be the right ear of a Batman cowl pattern. It could be all sorts of things. It could turn into a harmonic pattern. It could turn into a Gartley. Elliott Wave is just market structure. And you realize when you do Elliott Wave that all these patterns are great and you can identify them everywhere. But the odds every time you press the button are 50-50 as to whether or not that Elliott Wave pattern will play out into that version of Elliott or that version of Elliott. How does that help you in trading? The odds are still the same. They're 50-50. You just know roughly where it's going to go. That's it. It doesn't give you an edge. Nothing gives you an edge in the market. And this is why I trade the way I trade, because there is no edge in the market. It's random. The only thing we know is it's going to go here at some point and it's going to come down here at some point. I can't tell you which of those it's going to do. No one can. So that's the bit you got to eliminate. The trying to time the market and get the entry right. As soon as you stop trying to time the market and get the entry right, it all clicks into place. There's just a light bulb moment you suddenly have and go, right, well, if nothing works, then basically the only thing that we need to do is stop using the thing that makes us lose money. There is only one thing that ever stops you making money in the market, and it's a stop. Remove it, you become profitable. What strategy was being taken on Aussie dollar CAD? This is H1M5. So that one, H1. And I'm in short there because of that. And obviously we've had a big 2-day squeeze, 125 ADR on it. So again, should be getting a short on in a minute. Yeah, literally just about to get the reverse alert on M5. Literally just about to trigger. 83 pips away. It's 63 ADR. So like I said, got into that trade. Since got into that position there, it's just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. So we got an ADR away and we haven't had a reversal alert since. This is the first reversal alert you're going to get on Aussie dollar CAD. Things an absolute steam train today. Daniel, quick question. Do you use another terminal to analyze your trades on an account separate to the terminal running the EAs? Yes. This is the terminal I'm using on my computer. The VPS is here. Yeah. This is a computer somewhere in Lithuania. Latvia. Don't know where it is. Don't care. But the EA just, my analysis is done in here, but the EA is just taking the trades. So, Dave, disregard my message. I see there's a short. Yeah. Brian, Pittsburgh, July 95 degrees, 35 Celsius with 85% humidity. That's not much fun. Hot. Yeah. I like hot, but I don't like hot as well. Right, I've got to go. I'll be back on Tuesday. So off tomorrow, off on Monday, back on Tuesday. I will be around in Telegram. I'm not going anywhere that I haven't got internet. So I will be watching the charts, markets and everything as well, obviously. I'll be available in Telegram. So, if you need anything, come into Telegram. Other than that, I will be back on Tuesday. Just be aware of the news tomorrow. PMI day, going to be a busy one. And Monday, you haven't really got to worry about too much, I don't think. It's pretty flat on Monday. So it's a bank holiday in the Australasian zone, in Italy as well, Tuesday. So there's no news on Monday. We got consumer confidence on Tuesday. So next week is we've got the Bank of Japan monetary policy statements. That's a big one next Friday, the BOJ press conference. Apart from that, next week is fairly flat. We got CPIs for the Aussie. That's about it. So yeah, just be aware of tomorrow. Big day tomorrow, potentially. So watch out for the thumb. Thumbs up. Okay, have a good one. I'll be back on Tuesday next week. If you need anything, come in Telegram. Don't wear my thongs. I won't be wearing my thongs. Don't worry about that. I'll be back on Tuesday. If you need anything, let me know. Otherwise, have a good weekend. I will see you next week.